And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Blue in the Bronx YouTube channel. Hope you guys hit that like button, comment, and subscribe on your way in. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate you coming back. Share this out. Share it out to all the Giant fans out there. We got Sir Donald here, and we're going to break down day one of Giants free agency. Both of us have a similar view. It's very different from what the fan base is projecting onto everyone else. But with that said, I'm going to go and give Donald his first thoughts.
No, first thoughts, Paulson Adebo is a really good signing. So if you want something to be excited about, I think Paulson Adebo is a great signing. Not too worried about the money. I think it's just it's something you had to do. And we had to overpay a little bit anyway because nobody wants to come here. So at least we're getting somebody who's like 25 and a ball hawk. And yeah, I think that's a really good move. Does he suit Shane Bowen? I wouldn't say so, but that's a Bowen problem rather than a Paulson Adebo problem. I think Paulson Adebo is a really good signing that's going to really help us moving forward once we get a proper general manager. But for now, I think that's a really good signing. I think that's an A+ signing.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. What's up to Daniel Berry and Jonathan Mancusi in the chat? My good friend Jonathan. I also put up a poll that said, "Do you disapprove or approve of Joe Shane's free agency thus far?" And the Giants made two more signings within the past hour, both depth signings. Veteran linebacker Chris Board. What's up to Almighty, and also veteran tackle James Hudson. And I want to venture a little bit into this, but then go back to a certain signing that we spoke about that we're not really happy about. I really don't. You know what? Maybe it's a micro criticism, Donald. I don't get why we're overpaying for depth guys. Here's why, right? James Hudson with the Browns was a draft pick, so he was on a contract. He was a 4th-round pick out of Cincy a couple of years ago. He's getting paid $6 million by the Giants per year. And Jermaine Lemonor, our starting right tackle, is being paid $7 million a year. And get this one. This is the newest. Chris Board, the former Ravens linebacker. He was with a couple of different teams, right? Last year with the Ravens, he was making $1 million. He will be making $6 million with them. That's why I said it's a micro criticism, but why are we and people will be like, oh, I don't care what people say. Why are we overpaying depth special teamers?
On day one. Do you know what that means? That means that we can't even entice special team caliber players to sign for the Giants that we have to overpay by 600%. That's freaking incredible. That's a gifted general manager. That is what Hard Knocks does to an organization if you look like clowns. That's what Saquon Barkley leaving to win the Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles does to the New York Giants. Honestly, that's so hilarious. Oh, wow. It just makes it even better because I wasn't actually aware of the latter two. I turned this whole thing off after the Darius Slayton news, which was more than enough for me. But this is even better. This is excellent. Great job.
Just like, and that's actually the signing I want to get into first because it's internal and obviously we have different thoughts from the fan base. It's like, my brother told me the news when I picked him up from work. It's like, oh, you guys signed James Hudson. I'm like, okay, sign James Hudson, whatever. And then I saw this comment on Twitter from a Browns podcast that was replying to one of my good friends, formerly on YouTube known as The Hub. And he said, sorry, guys, this guy is not an NFL caliber backup. So I'm like, okay, we'll see about that. And then I go to see Mike Garafolo's tweet about 20 minutes ago. Oh yeah, 2 years, $12 million with $4 million in incentives. I'm like what? What's the weird thing about it? What's another weird thing? Let's add on the weird things. Art Stapleton said, "Oh, it could be an idea that they move Lemonor to right guard and Hudson to right tackle." I'm like, what? Why would you do that?
Exactly. Why would you do that?
So
Illuminau's a better right tackle than Hudson.
it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's just like I've never seen the Giants and look, listen, I'll say this: if you want to take a high line or an outline or a positive line to this free agency, the Giants are not spending like drunken sailors as they shouldn't. But the fact that we're overpaying depth guys by a couple million, it's fishy. Like Carter Coughlin is probably the same player Chris Board is, and he's probably like what, worth $1 million at best.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I want to. What's up to anyone else who's coming in the chat? Bookend says Fields off the table. Yeah, Browns of the NFC East. Almighty, I'm going to answer your question when we venture into that. I'm not particularly happy, as I said before. I think the thing that got me like so pissed off today out of the Giants free agency was not Roy Robertson-Harris, because I know obviously the story around him. It was not James Hudson. It was not Chris Board. And people may be irked by this. Again, I don't care. I'm not a fan of signing Darius Slayton back because people are throwing the pom-poms out. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to give the first thoughts to you on the Slayton thing, and then I'm going to go to my statement.
Do you know that we paid Darius Slayton more than we offered Saquon Barkley? Were you aware of that, Alex?
It's sad.
And yeah, and you know what that wins you? Ding, ding, ding! A trip to franchise hell, Johnny. That's great. That's what you win. What the fuck? What the fuck? This guy drops like I think for every 4 catches he makes, there's a drop. I mean, he had like 7 drops last year. This dude drops a lot of balls. And to be honest, I'm just kind of done. Can we just move on? It just seems like, I mean, the number isn't awful, but can't we just move on? There's better players available, but you know what that says to me? None of them want to come here. So it circles all the way back to John Mara, where he basically put a middle finger up to the franchise improving by retaining Joe Shane. Because what did Amani Toomer say about the Giants right now? Did you see the quote that Amani Toomer had for the Giants?
I think I did see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get that up just now, but I think he has a better pulse of how things are than John Mara does, and it's just a signing that it's just so meh. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does it do for us? It doesn't really move the needle. It doesn't make us more appealing. It doesn't really help us moving forward. It's just such a meh. And it says to me that they're unable to really attract other players. And I'm telling you, I think had we actually moved forward with a new general manager, then we would have been able to make ourselves more appealing. People don't want to sign for a Joe Shane regime. They just don't. So this is what Giant legend Amani Toomer said. I've seen enough of Joe Shane. He says players around the league are avoiding the Giants in free agency because of him. He says the league sees him as a sinking ship. That's a Giants legend saying that the league view the Giants as a sinking ship and nobody wants to sign for a Joe Shane regime. Why? Because there is an element of trust between players and their agents and contract negotiations, and Hard Knocks showed that you can't trust Joe Shane. You can't trust him, and nobody wants to go because of that. That's why you have to offer $6 million for a $1 million caliber player. That's why you have to bring back a Darius Slayton when we're desperately needing to move on. That's why we're really not appealing to the quarterbacks right now. That's why. And that's why we're signing really average to mediocre to below average defensive tackles in day one that any other franchise would normally get just towards the end of camp, just before the start of camp. And we're having to overpay on day one for these types of players. That says to me that the league is almost like making it very clear that they don't want to sign for a Joe Shane regime, and it's all because of John Mara. John Mara put us in this position. Had he done the right thing, the only thing, by moving on from Joe Shane, at least you've wiped the stink out of the franchise, because there's a massive stink with Joe Shane right now. The league is staying away from him like the plague. Had they moved off of that, then other players, better players that could come in here and help win right now would be more interested. But they're not doing it because Joe Shane's still here. And let's face it, John Mara actually made Joe Shane's job more difficult by saying that he wasn't very happy with Joe Shane's work so far. He doesn't think the team's improved in it really at all. And he has to go and be a lot better and win a lot of games this year in order to keep his job. How does that make that more appealing? Because other players are just going to be like, dude, that Joe Shane's cooked. Why should I be signing here? Because I might be just a one and done here. I'm probably going to go elsewhere where there's and just look at the way that the Giants were viewed around the league. They were voted 21st in the NFLPA organization list. 21st. So that's from their own players. Players don't want to be playing for the Giants right now. So that's why we're in this position. John Mara screwed us. Joe Shane's screwing us. And we still don't have a quarterback. We've overpaid for a very average, mediocre receiver and a bunch of depth moves that we could have gotten at the end of the month as opposed to day one. Not good business.
Yeah, it started off like very nicely with Adebo,
Yep.
and which we'll get into, and obviously of the other signings. Here's my problem with the Slayton thing. And I'm going to go back to 2023, March specifically. You remember when we had that big group chat, and you were one of the only ones that said, I don't like this move of bringing back Slayton for 2 years, $12 million. And I'm like, okay, bring him back. I guess it's not terrible, right? Whatever. And, well, obviously, you ended up being right on that. And then for the last 2 years, I'm like, we got to get rid of Slayton at least. I was a big proponent of trading him at the deadline.
Right.
And then you bring him back on this deal. First of all, number one, as Donald said, some of these guys that you're getting right now, you could probably get on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 of free agency. These are depth guys. I don't understand what the process and the philosophy is here. Not to mention, as we've said multiple times, you're overpaying them by a couple of million. People are focused on the wrong shit, in my opinion, with Darius Slayton. I don't have a problem with him as a receiver for the most part, except for the drops. I appreciate what he's done with bad quarterback play. I really do. But usually, a winning team re-signs Slayton because, hey, he's been a part of their core. He's a part of their winning culture. He has not won with us. He's not an elite player that, it's Andrew Thomas you got to re-sign, or it's Dexter Lawrence you got to re-sign. No, it's Darius fucking Slayton. He's been with us 7 years. We've been garbage for 7 years. I'll say 2022 too. I don't give two shits. And it's like, he's 8. I've seen the tweets. He's 18th in the Giants receiving record. Who cares? We haven't been a fucking winner and sustained winner in 12 years. Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And maybe you could have gotten this done. You didn't have to do this today. Why did you wait till today to extend?
Right.
You've had.
There you go. Just to interrupt, you could have gotten Roy Robertson-Harris.
Yeah, he was cut by the Seahawks days ago.
Who's beating the door down for a Roy Robertson-Harris? You probably could get him cheaper. Who's beating the door down for Darius Slayton? He'd be available tomorrow, probably the next day. Wait till the better receivers drop off the board. And hey, if you lose Darius Slayton, oh no, I think we'll live. It was so weird. They're rushing into these moves that you could get so much later in free agency for cheaper.
Yeah. What's up, Jeffrey in chat? I'm just gonna go through a couple comments. Here's a tale Here's the fucking tale here. Washington they went from a 2022 Giants team to arguably one of the top teams in the NFC, maybe a Super Bowl contender with this move and with Debo. And I know Debo's had some trouble over the last 2 years and all these other different things, not coming to camp and fit, whatever. Like I think a new culture changes you. I think it changes Debo. I had people obviously tell me all the nonsense. They went from a 2022 Giants team and actually have built off of that and made moves. Like Laremy Tunsil, I mean, there are some minor injury concerns over the course of his career, but he's probably a Hall of Fame left tackle, let's be completely fair. Debo Samuel, there are some concerns, but the upside is real. What did the Giants do to build off of that 2022 season? They fucking traded for Darren Waller. An injury-prone, retire the next year, Darren Waller. Right? Remember, we had to wait all year just to hear him retire in his rap career. And here's a good point, because I bring up Jeffrey's comment. Personally, I mean, I think they did overpay a few players. I think they overpaid Milton Williams. But here's the thing, right? It's the principle of the point. You bring in Mike Vrabel, and you still have the same GM, Elliott Wolf. I don't think he's great by any stretch of imagination, but it's not like Elliott Wolf, it has the Joe Shane mask on where nobody wants to play for him, right? They got Milton Williams. They got our starting right tackle. They got a couple other different players. Someone said it best, and even Justin Fields went to the Jets. With a new head coach and a new GM and a new system, there is new hope. This is like, I want to say that this is the least attractive place in the league, other than maybe Cleveland, maybe. So that's just what I'm just telling everybody what we've been reduced to, because he said, "Oh, because Mara had this perception of gotta bring these guys back, Diana Rossini said weeks after he brought them back that a lot of people were actually shocked about them coming back. What does that say? That they should have been gone. And look where we are now. We're signing depth players on day one. And before
day one is for starters, man. Day one is when you get the starters.
Absolutely.
The later days in free agency, that's when you start adding up the depth pieces. You could easily get a Roy Robertson-Harris, a Jace, if not better, in the 4th round, 5th round of the draft, if you scout correctly. In fact, you probably don't even need to scout that well to get someone better than a Roy Robertson-Harris in the 4th or 5th round, which would be a million times cheaper than what you're paying for him. What I'm talking about is allocation of resource, and Joe Shane's allocation of resource is insane. That's what we need to be focusing on next, I believe, later in this podcast, because the money that he's putting to these depth pieces now adding up, and it's actually making it harder for us to be able to bring in some starters now with decent money, because we're using up all our fucking free agent cap money.
It's, again, like, you can say, actually, you know what? My point was this. Give me a team across the league that is overpaying special teamers.
No.
Today, that they overpaid special teamers or overpaid veteran swing tackles. Someone give me a team. I dare them.
A bad team. Yeah, I could give you a bad team. Us.
Yeah. The blue. So Mara put this regime between a rock and a hard place. Yep.
I'd put a star next to that one, because that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. Adebo was the only plus signing. Everything else underwhelming at best. Can we still sign Najee or Dobbins? I would draft a running back.
And Najee's gone.
Yeah, he's a Charger now.
Yeah.
I disagree about the quarterbacks signing. Fantastic quarterbacks out there. Aaron Rodgers and Wilson. Rodgers, okay, but Wilson, no way. Shane is willing to overpay for anyone not named Saquon.
Fantastic point.
It's a good point. We need a running back to go with Tracy. Giants overcompensating for giving up all their leadership in past years, bringing back Slayton on this deal. Got a point. What quarterback? I definitely want to get into the quarterback section next. And I know obviously we have a couple of things we do want to go to. 2026 class is better on paper for now. We'll see upcoming season. Arch Manning hasn't played a full season yet, and I don't think he's coming out next year. That's why I always say to people, and people in the Giants community, like, you cannot wait till next year to draft a quarterback. Obviously, everyone has their different reasons, but if you're just saying, "Oh, we got to get the blue chip player," like, I mean, it's very different from what Donald thinks because Donald's like, I want to get this regime fired. So, as we're all just being honest here, but like some people genuinely believe in the best case scenario that the Giants should go after a blue chip player. Meanwhile, they went after a blue chip player last year. Like, stop kicking the can down the road. And I'm talking Giants Twitter and the community. There are no tier 1 players who got the legal sampling here. Tier 2 guys that were worth bringing in, scooped up aside from Adebo, who we got. Arch not coming out till 27. He'll get paid via NIL. And I'm going to make a prediction here because of the way the Giants have handled free agency thus far. The question was, we getting Rodgers or Russ? What quarterback do you want them to sign besides Rodgers? You want to sign a turnover freaking Jameis Winston. So my guys that I wanted to sign before today, Justin Fields, who's off the board, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. Those guys were my targets. Obviously, we know one of them is off the board now. I do not want an Aaron Rodgers. My prediction is, and I'll let Donald speak after this, I don't think the Giants are going to get any of those quarterbacks. The way they're allocating assets and the way they're overpaying some of these players, like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson would want to come to that. And there's a tweet out there that I've bookmarked from a couple of minutes ago that says, this is per Charles Robinson. I don't know how reliable that is, but apparently he's a senior NFL reporter for Yahoo.com. Russell Wilson's market beyond the Giants is considered flat. So the only thing that would force him here is a lack of options. Remember, they told him to go fuck himself a year ago because Daniel Jones. So
why would you want to come here? Unless there's no other options. But that's what I messaged to you, man. I was like, I mean, I'm not worried about the dollars we allocate to Russell. I'm more concerned about how we managed to break it to him that we told him to fuck off last year, but now it's okay that he can be our starter this year. Well, I mean, something doesn't add up here. Says to me organizational mismanagement, and they just don't really know what they're doing. That's what it says to me. I think they're in panic mode. I think they're in scramble mode. The ranking of quarterbacks, I would have gone with Justin Fields because I think there was a little bit of upside that Brian Daboll could maybe have gotten something out of, considering he's already quoted as saying that he recruited him back in the time where he was in Georgia, and Daboll recruited him, and he thought he was very athletic, and he really liked his upside. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe Daboll might be able to unlock something if the Giants are unable to trade up to 1. So I'm thinking that they're thinking that maybe they can trade up to 1 for a Cam Ward. But that's the only quarterback I want in this draft. Really, like legitimately, I don't like Jackson Dart. He reminds me a little bit of Daniel Jones in some ways. Or maybe I've just got PTSD. But I don't really like the Dart. And I don't know. I don't know if I trust Shadur Sanders' arm. I'm not sure if it's an NFL arm talent. It's a little bit hazy for me. I certainly wouldn't overpay to trade up to get a Shadur Sanders. I mean, had the Giants maybe went and signed maybe a Justin Fields and maybe picked up a Milroe in like the 3rd round or something like that, it's better than what we had last year, arguably. But as we stand, as of right now, I'm hoping we were able to trade up to 1 for Cam Ward. Or I guess it's going to have to be Aaron Rodgers, man. I'm not sure about the Russell Wilson thing. I'd probably go Aaron Rodgers too in this situation. I know it sounds hilarious, but he actually didn't throw that bad for the Jets last year. He kind of didn't. He looked better than Russell Wilson last year, in my opinion. But the thing is, these 2 guys I mentioned, none of them want to come here, man. That's a fact. None of them really want to come here. So it's a really sad situation we're in. And that's what I'm talking about. John Mara put the whole organization between a rock and a hard place over his own ego because he couldn't admit the fact he got it wrong again. And that's why he had to bring back a lame duck general manager and it's done nothing to help us. It's done nothing to help us in free agency, and it's just not helping this organization. And just to your point, Alex, you said that I want to get the general manager fired. I do want them fired, but it's because I don't want to lumber the next general manager. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in 12 months' time, right? With a quarterback that's not his, because he's going to have to go through the whole process again. And it feels like a backward step, and all we're doing is backward steps. And what if we say we traded up for Cam Ward? Do you know what's going to happen? Keeps Joe Shane here for another 3 years or 2 years anyway. Because do you want to fire him after just getting his quarterback? You're probably going to want to give him time.
Yeah.
You know? And how much more time does he need to fuck this organization? Because he's doing a really good job of it right now.
I mean, with the rookie quarterback, there is no doubt that he and Brian Dable would stay to the end of their contracts, which is 2026.
Oh.
But here's the thing, right? And you bring it up, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. I think we're going to definitely agree on this point. Let's start with Russell Wilson. You said, as did I, Russell Wilson was basically told by the Giants, go fuck yourself, because we have Daniel Jones and you're not guaranteed to start or any of that stuff. Okay. So he has the Giants. He's got the Titans. I'm surprised the Vikings are not in the pool for Russell Wilson, because usually they were with the Stafford thing and Rodgers. Yeah. But let's just say it's base those three teams. And maybe the Steelers, but I know that they're not too keen on signing him back. You know what Wilson's going to say to Joe Shane? He's going to say, okay, you guys want me? I want more money. And then the Giants are going to say, I don't know if we could do that. And then it's going to go goodbye. And then we're not going to get Russell Wilson. And then the second thing is this, right? Aaron Rodgers. Whether we talk about, obviously, first of all, it's already on the table, $20 million for Justin Fields to be a starter over with the Jets. So not only is Aaron Rodgers going to want more than $20 million, number one, he's not a humble human being. We know who Aaron Rodgers is. And he's going to want to bring his cronies along. Like, obviously, Devontae Adams is over in Los Angeles, so that's not happening. Maybe he wants to bring over Robert Tonyan and Alan Lazard.
Oh, Adam Lazard. Oh, yeah, that would just be the icing on the cake.
So there is a cost, and it comes at a cost because the Giants have not done anything properly in the past 12 years, but specifically speaking, in the last 3. And that's sad. That's sad. And as Donald said, they have not allocated resources properly.
Yeah, let's look at the money that we have now tied into what we've spent already. So we put $12 million a year into Slayton.
We have $6 million in James Hudson, so that's 18. We have another $6 million in what's his face board. So that's 12, 6. That's $24 million. They better do some really good.
Robertson-Harris is $10 million over 2 years.
That's 5 plus 6 plus 6.
So almost under $30 million got tied into some.
We're not even talking about Adebo. That's the funny thing,
right? That we've not even added Paulson Adebo, and we've just basically added a bunch of depth guys that a lot of them would be league minimum players.
Yeah, let's see. We got 12. I mean, at base, obviously, because they're probably going to structure this around. It's just a principle, the point. Plus 6, plus 6, plus 5. If this were to be charged to this year's cap, which obviously it probably isn't, but I'm just pointing it out there, that's $47 million. So
all I'm saying is, wouldn't you rather allocate those resources into one excellent offensive guard that can actually start?
Yeah, no, I definitely would. Do you guys think this regime could still survive a bad start, like 2-6 or 1-7, and work to season's end, or do you think they would get? if they bring in veteran quarterback and they don't draft a first round quarterback, their ass as good as gone.
Which would suit me.
They have to be competitive.
Yeah.
With a rookie in this situation. Like they would have to turn it over to the rookie at some point. I'm talking first round rookie, whether it's Shedeur or Cam Ward. They would have to be competitive, and they would have to see strides. Not even they. John Mara. John Mara would have to see strides. So
how about this?
Sure.
Say we bring in Russ or Rodgers. One of the either one. I'm much of a muchness. I'm not really that bothered about either. Don't have a strong conviction either way. I think they're both solid. Right. So you bring in them, and then you bring in a day 2 quarterback, like a Milroe, whatever really stands out to you. Again, much of a muchness, not really that bothered. Say they went and did that, and then you now are free to go into the draft and then draft a Mason Graham or an Abdul Carter. You've now kind of got an all right team because now you're guaranteed a really interesting defense, some real playmakers on the defensive line, and your offense is going to be okay because you got Malik Neighbors and you've actually finally got a competent quarterback. And then you can then use, like, say, your second round pick on a brilliant running back because there's a bunch of running backs that I love in this draft. Maybe, heck, he drafted Tez Johnson. I'm a big fan of his. Then you've kind of got yourself a decent team. And guess what? You're not tied to anything. So then you can finally get rid of Joe Shane next year and have a new general manager, and he can draft his quarterback. That's not a bad idea. I'm just throwing it out there. That's not that bad an idea because we'll be better than last year. Plus, there's nothing that's going to disastrously lumber the new general manager.
See, I like Donald's continued plan for sabotage. It seems like it is that. It seems like it is that, and I find it funny. But in that situation, though, I would say this, right? You could, in that situation, let's just say the Giants are picking third still, and they take a Milroe later on. And I know, obviously, we're not going from the 4th round to the 1st, but you sign a Rodgers. I would say Mason Graham is probably your best bet because Abdul Carter, right? Let's say you pick him. He's got some injury concerns, and I don't have a problem with him as a player. I mean, he was destroying Notre Dame offensive linemen with one fucking arm. But what kind of leverage does it give you to trade Kayvon Thibodeau? It doesn't give you any leverage because they already know you want to get rid of him.
I'm desperate to trade Kayvon Thibodeau, man.
I would put him in a package to go to 1 overall. Put Kayvon.
Right? Yeah. I mean, if that means that we don't have to give up next year's first round pick, then I would do it because I would be loath to pick up Kayvon's 5th-year option. I'd be loath to do that.
Oh, they will.
I know they will, but I'd be loath to do it because it's not a good allocation of resources when you're already paying Brian Burns to do basically what Kayvon's doing, just a little bit better.
Yeah. Which actually, you know what? You know why it's a good deal if we were to put Kayvon in there? I'll tell you why after I read this. James Hudson, that's the guy, Scrubs. We're out there investing in low-end role players. Giants are sorry. Yeah, they're pretty sorry. 3 wins won't be enough for Dable and Shane to keep their jobs. I guess they need 5 wins in a best-case scenario to have a chance to return. Yeah, definitely more than last year. I like that idea, Donald. I just don't think that's going to happen. Part of the sabotage plan. I doubt someone will be willing to take Tibbs in a trade at this point. Now, get this. You have Jeffrey Simmons on their defense, right? Let's just say the Giants go from 3-1. They give up Kayvon Thibodeau in a deal to the Tennessee Titans. And then at 3, the Titans draft Abdul Carter, right? Because the Browns already re-signed Myles Garrett. So on one side, you got a player looking to prove himself in Kayvon Thibodeau, and you have a rookie in Abdul Carter. And for a rebuilding team, that's a good deal for Tennessee. That's my personal opinion.
You would think so. But don't they want I'm sure they want a quarterback bad.
Yeah. I don't know. They're very I don't know what their position is on quarterback. Like, if they sign somebody in free agency or have a bridge, and then maybe like do a developmental guy, but they kind of did that with Vrabel, and that's what got them fucking Will Levis.
And I guess it depends on where they view their draft board. And I think a lot of teams don't even have their draft board set yet because they've not even gone through the whole process yet. So it's still going to take time. But it really depends on where they have Cam Ward in their draft board in relation to, say, a Graham and an Abdul Carter, and see if there's a big disparity between the two, or if it's kind of like a 1A, 1B scenario. These are the kind of questions that normally come up on the draft board. And obviously, I'm looking forward to get into that draft process because it would be interesting. Alex, if you're like to rate, like, say, your top 10 prospects, right? I'm not asking you to list your top 10 prospects. Where would you have Cam Ward in relation to, say, an Abdul Carter and a Mason Graham in terms of like highest upside, regardless of position?
I haven't done a ton of work on Graham. I think Abdul Carter is going to be a really good edge rusher in the league. I mean, if he was destroying Notre Dame offensive linemen with one arm because his other arm was hurt, I think he's going to be a really special player. Like, people are comparing him to Parsons. I wouldn't go that far yet, but I think he does have a high ceiling. Cam Ward, I feel like, because I listen to comparisons on both of them, and I've been, no joke, really busy in my personal life. So I've been trying to set aside time to watch him versus Shador. I think Ward possibly has the higher ceiling, and the higher floor goes to Shador.
Okay.
Weird.
No, that makes sense. That does make sense because obviously the drawback with Cam is that he's waiting for the big play to develop, as opposed to being okay just to take the small plays, the accurate throws, and the intermediate, short and intermediate, get that downfield, keep things accurate, doesn't turn the ball over. Cam Ward's wanting to make the big, like, 50-yard throw down the field, and maybe he'll get sacked in the process, or maybe he'll throw an interception, those kind of things. So that kind of makes sense. If it works, then Cam Ward's by far the prospect to get, but maybe you want the more accurate quarterback, I should say. But how many likes have we got so far?
Let's see. Let's refresh the page. You got all right, we got 10 likes.
We got 10 likes. Come on, guys. The next target's 20. Come on. We can get the likes up, guys. Let's get the likes up for my guy, Alex, here. Works incredibly hard in this channel. This card's grown. Heck, he was in Alabama for you guys. So let's get the like button up for my guy, Alex, here, all right? And for Big Blue.
Other than Adebo, less than I don't even know how to put my emotions towards today. Not great. I know it peaked at Adebo. It peaked, and then that
was. I mean, after the Adebo move, I was like, oh shit, Joe. All right.
Yeah, I even texted you. I said, look, the Adebo is better than anything the Yankees have had to offer us.
And I said by light years. Yeah. So I was like, I'm genuinely excited. It's not like I'm hating on that. I'm genuinely excited. I love that deal. There's no downside for me. I know that he came off the broken leg, but I still think that it's a really high upside move. He's only 25 years old, so there's legitimately 4 or 5, maybe 6 really good years in him. So I think that's a great signing. I'm very hyped about that. And I'm excited for when we finally have a decent defensive coordinator to get the most out of him. It's just not going to be this one. But I'm just thinking about future regimes here because...
You're thinking 2026.
I'm thinking 2026, man. I've already given up on 2025 in all my teams. Yankees, cooked. Giants, 2025, forget about it. 2026, both looking up for that. We just need a new regime for both.
He's not wrong. Real quickly, a chip just dropped. The Vikings and Byron Murphy are agreeing to an extension, 3 years, $66 million. That's $22 million a year.
And we were, what, $16 million a year for Adebo?
$18 million.
$18 million.
Yep. Let's see. What was I going to say? That's now I don't know. Oh yeah, Murphy has 9 interceptions in the last 2 years. Adebo is 7.
Right.
So
I mean, I like the Adebo signing.
yeah,
I do. Is
yeah.
Chris Godwin? No, he re-signed
Nah,
with
he re-signed.
the Bucks.
Yeah, he took less money.
Yeah.
You Donald got less hope than I do, and that's saying something. Yeah, Scrubs is usually, he's usually the pessimistic type. Slayton, the head scratcher, swing tackle was a good deal. I agree but disagree, but the problem is, Jacob, is that he's earning only $1 million less than Illuminor. Like, Illuminor was brought in to be a starter no matter what last year, and you're signing your depth guy to be $6 million. Meanwhile, they only paid Stinney $1 million last year. Like, you see the trend I'm going off of. Like, Jack Driscoll is still out there, the former Philadelphia Eagle offensive lineman who's got a ring to his name and started numerous games for the Eagles. The Giants
So who's penciled in to be right guard for us? Is it Evan Neal?
Might be. Oh, I'm going to put a pin in that for a sec. The Jets have signed safety Andre Cisco, $1 million, 10 years, 1 year. 10 Can't talk. Someone's got to clip that.
1 year, $10 million.
Yes. Thank you, Donald.
Dude, why is that better value than anything we've done outside of Adebo?
We don't have a safety. Pinnock is still a free agent. It's just like why didn't we attack that today? Like, I know the safety market sucks, but Christ, Eric Murray's gone, who I projected the Giants would get. Cisco is gone. Like, just re-sign Pinnock and then I don't know.
That's right. I mean, wouldn't you say that the $10 million you could use for a Cisco to be your starting safety is a better allocation of resource than like the $10 million for Roy Robertson-Harris plus the little sisters of the poor that we've signed?
No, yeah, it's better. No, it's absolutely better because, I mean, whether it's 1 year, 3 years, whatever, that's a guy who could play center field. The Giants don't have a guy that plays center field. And we were talking about it on Saturday, and Drew from Two Giant Goofballs kind of disagreed with us. We were talking about how overrated, this is just me, Tyler Newman was last year.
Oh, yeah, totally.
6 interceptions in his last year in Minnesota. I didn't expect him to be a Pro Bowler in year 1. But my God, was he awful. And he was like, I don't like Deonte Banks. I've made that known. But there were some plays where he was covering because Newman was out of place. And mind you, they drafted him and they let McKinney walk.
I thought Newman missed a lot of tackles in my opinion.
Yes, that too. Other than QB, what's our biggest need? I put a pin in Donald's guard question. Who would be slotted in at right guard right now? Either Evan Neal or Jake Kubas.
That's dreadful. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we should have attacked in day 1. Where's Freeze right now?
Fries is nowhere. He's still a free agent. Now, here's 2 things I'll put on Fries. He obviously was graded really well last year. He only played 5 games. He had a season-ending injury, and like last year was his like best year, and he was a 7th-round pick. But also, maybe he wants to come home because he went to high school in Jersey and he was born in Staten Island.
Love it.
There might be some emotional attachment there.
Do we know of the interest? Do we know if the Giants are interested, or if the Giants kind of spunked their load already?
From what I was told, from what Jordan Renan said, better yet, he really didn't mention a single name. Like, at least I don't think so. So I don't remember him mentioning a name. Like, he mentioned corner, like he mentioned DJ Reed before he went to Detroit. He did. I don't like. Please in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember him mentioning. I remember him mentioning that they're going to be good in the guard market, but I don't remember him mentioning anyone specific. Like, but anyway, what's up to Jets Mess? How much of Newman not popping off was because of Bowen's system?
Well, he was.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. And you know what the thing is? He was drafted for that system. Buyer beware approach. Yeah. Like the names the 3 names I have in my head for the Giants right now. Fries is 1. Brady Christensen from the Panthers is 2, and 3 is probably Dalton Reisner from the Vikings.
Yeah, he's okay.
Which is not a bad list to have, but you need to get it done. And let me see how many chips fell today in terms of the guard market.
I agree, finesse. I would like Jeremy Chin. You'd be fine.
Oh, that's too bad. He's a Raider.
Oh, great.
And you know what? Hold on. Let me think. Let me see something here. I don't know. Maybe I just want to see Jeremy Chin. 2 years. Hold on. I'm trying to look up. I think they said over 16 million a year. Yeah, I don't know that we would be spending that much on a safety, but yeah, Jeremy Chin is no longer free agent. I'm gonna see what cards fell in the guard market. Yeah, let's see. It looks like they haven't updated all stats. Here we go. Aaron Banks signed. Patrick McCarry signed. James Daniels went to the Dolphins. Alex Kappa obviously went to the Raiders, and Bradley Bozeman was brought back. Other than that, there wasn't too many pins that dropped in the market. I mean, you still got Reisner. I would look at Tevin Jenkins personally. I mean, he is a mammoth of a man. He can play guard and tackle. I would not re-sign Greg Van Roten. I mean, he was decent, but like he's 35. Absolutely not. Urbig, no, I wouldn't sign Nate Urbig, and that's pretty much it for the guard market. Like,
great then.
Javon Holland, I think he's gonna want a payday. I don't know if he fits what the Giants want to do, and I think he wants a payday, which kind of prices himself out of the Giants. But then again, too, even if he didn't price himself out of the Giants, look at our asset allocation.
I do love Javon Holland.
No, he's a good player.
But he's incredibly expensive. He'd be incredibly expensive.
I would draft a guard. I'm going to say no. I'm going to be completely honest. Not in the first. You can't do it in the first 2 rounds because I'm eyeing quarterback round 1. I think round 2, unless you see a top offensive lineman there, you probably should go DT. Oh no.
Rodgers update.
Let's see. Dove Kleiman. Let's see. Pro Football Talk. Steelers and Rodgers could have a deal done by tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he's going to the Steelers.
Yeah, I think it's as good as done.
I think it's a better situation for him because now he's got DK Metcalf to throw to.
Yeah, DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, George Pickens. I mean, it's a high character locker room, but who cares? You know, they're a better team than we are.
Absolutely. I mean, so then we'd be all in on Ross then, or Jameis Winston, but I've not really heard us with Jameis Winston.
No, what Renan said it was one of two. It was going to be either Rodgers or Wilson, and it's really looking like Wilson right now because that one report I pulled up said that quote unquote Wilson's market is flat. But again, how much is he going to want? How much can the Giants put up after all this asset allocation? That's my question.
Neymar loves the Darius Slayton move. All right, Neymar. Listen, I'd love your thoughts. Like, why do you love the Darius Slayton move? What upside? I mean, I'm not trying to be I'm just asking. What do you think kind of upside does he offer? How does he help? How does he really help? And etc. And do you think that's a good allocation of resources? Do you not think that maybe that 12 million would have been better used elsewhere per year? But hey, if you think that's a good move, it'd be interesting in your thoughts, man.
Yeah. As I mentioned to you in DMs, and I also said it in my ideal offseason. I wanted Sebastian Joseph Day. I mean, he re-signed for like $7 million. But I would have rather that because he's a consistent starter, a Super Bowl winner over Robertson-Harris, who he got traded mid-season from the Jaguars. He was not doing a good job of run defending to the Seahawks, and I got a reply from multiple Seahawks fans. One we have on the show every time we face the Seahawks, Mookie Alexander, shouts to him. He said he's a good rotational piece, but he's not spectacular. 2 words, rotational piece.
So is he basically kind of an upgrade to Nacho?
I don't know if I would even say that.
So he's just basically the same as Nacho.
Yeah. And Nacho's getting $3 million. So think of it this way, Donald. $3 million ish plus $5 million. That's $8 million on two guys who are decent at best against the run.
Right, and you gave me the PFF grades between Dalvin Tomlinson
And Joseph Day and Robertson-Harris.
Right.
And then it's instrumentally better.
Well, Joseph Day is massively better than between the two.
Yeah. If that happens, who's y'all pick for quarterback? Wilson, Mariota. Those are my three. I mean, I can't imagine the Giants go deeper into the sinkhole of quarterbacks.
We're already in sinkhole, bro.
Like Jimmy G is already a Ram again. Like, who the fuck would they pick up? Kyle Trask? Carson Wentz? Jacoby Brissett? Like, I don't know.
But I mean, I think this is the first time that I can recall that the Giants have 0 quarterbacks on the roster right now.
Well, you forgot about Tommy DeVito.
He's just there for vibes. And has he even officially signed yet? I mean,
oh yeah, he's signed.
He's signed. All right, okay. So we got vibes as our only quarterback right now. I think that's the first time that I can recall that basically a practice squad quarterback is the only quarterback that we have in our entire roster after day one of free agency. That is a pretty amazing gift. It's a gift bestowed upon us, man.
Oh my God.
And I've been watching the Giants since Dave Brown, and I can't recall an offseason where we have like no units at quarterback.
Unfortunately, it is literally laughable as what we are doing right now.
Yes, it's hilarious.
Scrubs, if a team like the Bucks had given Slayton that deal, I would have liked that. With everything that's happened with the Giants and Slayton this past year, it's just not a good move. As I said, and Donald said, time to move on. But the Giants would rather the sentimental, and he's got to get the Giants receiving record. Like, shut the fuck up, seriously. Like, I'm not even talking to the people in the chat that like the Slayton move. I'm talking to people on social media who are throwing out the pom-poms. Like, that's what you're fucking worried about? Would you trade a day 3 pick for Joe Milton?
I think Joe Milton's got upside.
I think he's got upside. I think the Giants would be cornered, though. Like, let's just say, because it's weird, why would you trade for a Joe Milton if you want to draft a quarterback? If you don't get the quarterback, let's just say day 1 passes, the first 2 picks are QBs, right? Then you would be forced into trading for Milton, and then the Patriots could rape you for compensation. And they could say, oh, yeah, we have the Raiders or something on the line, and then they trade for Milton or something like that.
Do you think, say in that scenario, right, where we're unable to trade up to 1 or 2, and the 2 quarterbacks that are the only first-round caliber quarterbacks go off the board, do you see Joe Shane pulling a Dave Gettleman and drafting Daniel Jones-a-Jace? In other words, like a day 2, day 3 caliber quarterback, 3rd overall?
I'm going to be bold and I say he doesn't do something that egregious.
I hope not.
Because there will be pitchforks at MetLife Stadium the next day.
That'd be hilarious.
There will literally be pitchforks. I personally would have tried a 3rd round pick and maybe finesse Tibbs for Malik Willis. But this mark isn't great for the Giants. Yeah, Malik Willis is also apparently available from Green Bay's side of things.
Oh, I like Malik Willis. He did well for Green Bay last year.
Yeah, I think he won like 2-3 games, something like that. He
looked okay for Green Bay last year. And I quite liked him in the draft. I mean, I'm not saying he's like great or anything, but he's better than anything we've had at quarterback in about minimum 2 years anyway.
Yeah, let's see. Malik Willis. 2-0 record was starting quarterback for 74.1% completion in 7 games. I mean, I can't shit on that.
No, he's a good call for backup.
Yeah. Well, the Giants, in this case, the Giants have to have a fucking backup plan. And they're not really good at backup plans, as we've seen.
So, what do you think is going to happen day 2, tomorrow?
Oh, Jesus. I think we'll get our... I'm gonna do it like this. I think the Giants are going to get their answer at quarterback. And for some reason... Again, like it seems to make sense that Wilson could definitely be a Giant, but it also makes sense that the Giants are not going to do that because they've handled the quarterback situation. They told Wilson to go screw himself, and I just see them like getting a Mariota or a Winston. I would not do it, by the way, Almighty.
No, I think that ship has sailed with Evan Engram.
Yeah, let's not get sentimental. Like with the Slayton crap. What I will say is this. Also, I think it's noticed across the league, per se. I think it's noticed that the Giants are super desperate for a quarterback because you saw how hard they went in for Matt Stafford. And Connor Hughes had a tweet earlier in the day. He said, Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback the Giants want. Which, again, I'm not happy with, but the optics' sake is like, you're desperate for a fucking quarterback.
And Aaron Rodgers doesn't even want to go to the Giants.
No. He wants to be the Steeler. He wants to be a Steeler.
It's a better organization. It's a much better run-over organization. So then the Giants will be getting their third choice quarterback if it's Ross. Do we have any idea what compensation we offered the Rams for staff?
I was told it was, well, not told. Twitter, reporters and shit. I was told it was a pretty big package and it was like a really good deal. But they didn't. But he wanted to go back to the Rams for less money.
Again, because nobody wants to go to the Giants. What's up to who we got here? Miz, what's up?
What's up to Miz? He's one of the guys that doesn't really like Slayton as a player, but he was trying to convince me earlier that like he's respected around the league. And I'm like, I don't like Slayton. I'll stick to not liking Slayton.
It's not that I dislike. I just wanted to move on.
Yeah.
I just feel I wanted to get the stench of the old Giants off.
Old loser Giants.
Yeah, we just can't get rid of them.
Like Shepard. Remember that? Sterling Shepard, how many times was he resigned?
Kept coming back. Although he kind of redeemed himself over in Tampa Bay. So maybe it has something to do with the organization. Giants are a dreadful organization right now.
I'm not in tune.
I'm just trying to think of like something to be positive about. The positive is the only real signing we made was Paulson Adebo.
Yeah.
Right. That will have any effect on future years. All these kind of deals we're making are kind of much for muchness. There's not that much. It's not going to affect us long term. So like it's not lumbering us with going into future years, future free agencies. Easy to get out of them. I'm kind of, at least that's a positive, and at least that's something I'm going to give to Joe Shane, because Joe Shane did promise that he wasn't going to just spend like a drunken sailor on free agency. It's kind of obvious that that's the case, that he's not doing it. He is overpaying for I would say, guys that you could get similar talent in like day 3 of the NFL draft. So either it says to me that he doesn't trust his draft process, that he can't do that, or it says to me that they have a million needs that he has to address in the draft. Anyway, but they have overpaid for some really, and I'm being generous when I say they are not even mid. I think a lot of them are below average. But so I think that kind of stuff could have been brought in like 5th, 6th round of the NFL draft. So I don't really understand it. However, at least it's not lumbering us into the future, and it's not really a big deal. So I would say that's pretty positive. The Paulson Adebo signing is really positive. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. And if we go in, say, by the time we talk again tomorrow, maybe we have a quarterback and maybe we have an offensive guard signed up, and then you can see a better idea of what the picture is.
Yeah, that's what at least I would hope for, because I don't know how this guard thing is going to fall out. I hope that they sign one tomorrow. You got to have this quarterback situation. It's just exactly we'll miss this. Who the fuck is our quarterback? No, it's a good point. Donald was bringing that up. Mara fucking bringing them back. That's essentially what created this. But also then again, we don't have to worry about that if they do their jobs, right? Remember, they wanted the blue chip player last year. It was great. See Malik Neighbors, Pro Bowl, over 1,000 yards, but they didn't get the quarterback. They didn't build off that 2022 season. That's why it remains a flunky. And we could say, oh well, it's a no-win situation for certain things. Well, kind of created a no-win situation. All three are to blame. I mean, it's really not rocket science to break down, but this is what happens. This is what happens. So
I would say like almost 90% of the blame is John Mara and Joe Shane. Dable's generally liked around the Giants players. The Giants players tend to like Dable. They think he's a pretty decent coach. I don't think judging by what Jordan Raanan said, Joe Shane is not popular in the Giant locker room.
No. Not
by a stretch. And he's basically laughed at around the league from what you can tell. And I think that, players saw the way that he treated Saquon Barkley in Hard Knocks, and they realized that that's not someone that you can really trust. And then you just look at the way that his process, and a lot of players watching that will be like, dude, this guy's a moron. Why would I want to sign here? And so you're seeing that by the numbers that are all massive overpays, especially the latter ones that we've mentioned. They're all massive overpays. And that says to me that no one wants to sign here, and that we have to overpay significantly, not even by a little bit to edge out the opposition, the competition, but overpay massively just to even bring them in. And that's why we're in this position. It kind of reminds me, because this is like, for instance, that contract we gave to Robertson-Harris was a massive overpay, right? Because that's someone that you could get for $1-2 million in any normal year. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Like the election process, and where like they'll focus on a county, right? And the voting trends of that county as opposed to previous elections, right? And you're seeing, there's a big surge here that's unusual from 4 years ago. And I know it seems a little bit mad, but that's the way I view it, because you're seeing here that we're having to overpay massively as opposed to in previous years when there was better value available, because no one wants to be here. No one wants to be a Giant. No one wants to be lumbered with a lame duck general manager. And with an owner that looks clueless. He looks outdated. And also they're paying attention. The fans are having airplanes flying everywhere, wanting this whole thing out, right? And John Mara basically puts 2 middle fingers up in the air and tells us all to go fuck ourselves. He's keeping his guy for no reason, because he gave, in that interview, which was the opportunity for him to stand on account for his ridiculously bad general manager, he didn't do it. He gave us more reasons why he should have fired Joe Shane as opposed to keep him in that interview, to tell us that he's keeping him. I can't tell you that we're any better than we were before. I'm not happy with this. I'm quite impatient. He has to win. All these things that are making you think,
Well, why the fuck did you bring this guy back then? Right? And if we're thinking that, I guarantee you every agent and every player is looking at that going, yeah, I want nothing to do with this shit. You're going to have to pay me 10 times my value for me to even be anywhere near your stench. And that's what it is. It's a stench of the Giants that needed to be cleared out by our owner, who should be in charge of these fucking things. He should have cleared out that stench. It's like rotten fucking milk poured all over the carpet. You needed to rip that carpet out and bring in a new fucking carpet, and then maybe more people will be interested in walking in the building. It's not rocket science, right? But his ego wouldn't allow that, because his ego would be telling us all that he fucked up again. Just like he fucked up the last time with the last hiring process and the hiring process before that, and his old ass couldn't admit it. So that's why we're lumbered with a situation. We're overpaying dudes like Roy Robertson-Harris, who in the name of fuck is he? And that's on day one, when you could probably get him 2 months from now. So anyway, ran over, but that's exactly why we're in this situation. And it's embarrassing. And also, why the fuck is our defensive coordinator still here? He needs to be out.
Well, the stability and continuity, Donald. Stability and continuity. And here's what I'll say, right? I want to go through the comments. I see Field and Forum, who I think he's a Patriots fan. So what's up? Congratulations on some of the signings today. I've had multiple conversations throughout the offseason with Miz, and here's where I disagreed with him. He brought to my attention, and it was really with the Stafford thing, because he wanted Stafford. I didn't want Stafford. And one of our talking points was like, why would Stafford want to come here? He's like, well, the Giants are a respected organization and this, that, and the third. I'm like, to be fair, this isn't the Giants of like the 1980s, the 1990s, or the early 2000s, right? They had a legacy. It was much closer to that, right? So in that regard now, it's 12 years of shit. Constantly. 12 years. And the Giants are not that respected organization anymore. There are reports that Bill Belichick was unhappy with the way this organization was being run. For all the people that wanted Belichick in the offseason, even though we didn't release Dable, we didn't release Joe Shane. This is not a respected organization anymore. Today really put the stamp on that.
Am I right in thinking that John Mara put the feelers out to see if anyone would be interested in their jobs and no one wanted it? Especially the head coach?
I do. I would say a little bit of that, but I remember he also put feelers out like around the Colts game about Dable getting fired and keeping Joe Shane. And
everyone was pissed at that.
And yeah, not everybody was happy about that. But then, of course, he went a step back and he get both of these guys. So, whatever y'all draft a QB so we get Hunter. Listen, I don't draft a quarterback. That's it's again, like I see people saying, what's so negative about today? What's so negative? It's like, I don't know, man. It's just, you got to read between the lines on something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we even talked about this. Did we ever talk about how Jalen Hyatt is a fucking bust?
Oh, that's just a given now. That's so, I mean, the receiving core is already there now. We're not adding another receiver. You'll maybe draft one. Probably not a high pick either, because our three receivers are going to be Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, and Wan'Dale Robinson. And you'll maybe have room to maybe draft a fourth. Hyatt ain't going to be involved. Hyatt, they're cooked. They hate Hyatt.
Nope. And what are you going to trade him for? A bucket of biscuits?
Come on. I'm sorry, Almighty. They're not signing Diggs.
No.
Because then that would be admitting that they overpaid for Wan'Dale Robinson in the draft. Overdrafted Wan'Dale Robinson in the draft. And they're not going to admit that either. They want Wan'Dale as their slot guy. Slayton is their outside guy. Neighbors is the other outside guy. Diggs, there's no point having Diggs as a fourth receiver.
No. And Diggs would want $40 million just to play for the Giants, because this is such an unattractive destination.
Right.
Niners have been dismantled. Thank you to Purdy. Well, I mean, that they've been in a weird ship with their defensive line the past few years. To answer your question, Jacob, he's actually pretty happy with the way things have turned out for the New York Jets, specifically today. I mean, he wasn't a fan of the cornerback signing, but as far as Fields, he was pretty happy.
What was all the Jets' moves? Because I guarantee it'll be better than the Giants. What were they?
Cisco,
like that
safety. Justin Fields, $20 million a year.
Fine.
And Brandon Stevens, I want to say $11 million per year at corner. Like, I would say that in their three moves, that's probably the worst.
Yeah.
Which, again, Donald, did they overpay for special teamers?
No, they didn't. But at least we got one A+ guy. I think Paulson Adebo is an absolutely excellent move.
Yeah.
So, although I spent a good hour and 10 giving Joe Shane, cooking him on a skillet, but I have to be honest, I love that Paulson Adebo signing. So there's every so often he surprises me and goes, "Hey, hello, Joe. Hey, all right." And that was one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll throw a question to you, Donald, before we wrap up. Do you think we should give Miz his 3 minutes, and then because he seems pretty pissed?
Whatever you want, man. It's your channel. I think so.
All right. Bring prime time JR to New York, dropping dimes to Nabathon. Okay. All right, Miz. You're gonna get
Alex says, do you want to, if we do sign a quarterback tomorrow, do you want to do another quick stream?
Yeah. Because obviously, if nothing happens and we overpay 4 more special teamers, then we're gonna have a problem. And if it's a stream, it's not going to be a very nice stream. I mean, hell, like this one was. What was I going to say? But yeah, no. If they sign a quarterback tomorrow, I'd like to. I think breaking it down would be nice. Especially with Russ.
I would love to be a little bit more positive because the Yankees have made me miserable, and the Giants have made me miserable for years. So I would love to have a more optimistic podcast, and I would lovely to have a quarterback for the New York Football Giants, which I haven't had since Eli Manning. So I would love to have a quarterback.
What's up to El Capitan, Raiders fan in the chat? Miz, I texted you the link. But yeah, all right. Which quarterback do you think the Giants sign tomorrow? If they sign one.
Well, I mean, it looks like Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh. And as I say, I don't really have a massive difference in grade between the two at this stage of their careers. So I'd be more than happy to bring Russ in. Also, I would love to have an African-American starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants. I think that would be great. I think it'd be a good image because John Mara would probably hate it. So let's do it.
I think is it going to be Russ? Because like my only thing that's not saying okay, Russ is not coming here is his market. Like I would say the Titans are the other team, and like Vikings maybe. Maybe Daniel Jones goes back to the Vikings.
Who cares? I don't care what Daniel Jones. Honestly, he could go and take a running jump. He can learn how to ski for all I care.
Listen, I could teach him how to ski. Not that I would want to. I would. You know what? Just for that, I'd want $40 million to teach him how to ski. So.
No, I think Russ will be a good quarterback, man. I think he looked fine for Pittsburgh last year. I think he did. I think he looked fine for Pittsburgh last year. I'm surprised they didn't want to bring him back because I thought he did a good job for them.
Yeah. I think there was maybe a little rift at the end. I don't know. Because like they were before Fields signed to the Jets, they were much more wanting to sign Justin Fields, re-signing him than Russell Wilson. Which again, I kind of agree with you. I'm like, well, didn't Wilson play better?
Bro, love the picture of our air conditioning vent in Jersey.
Conditioning vent. Oh, yes, the stadium. Yeah. The reason I chose that because it looks like hell, does it not?
It is. It even looks uglier in this picture than humanly possible.
Oh man.
It looks like Dexter's air conditioning. It's flat. What the fuck? How did we pay billions of dollars for that thing?
For an ass can. That's what it is. It's a toilet bowl.
Jacob, I love the Adebo signing. I've been saying it all for like hour and 15 minutes. I loved it. I think it's great.
If the Titans sign Russ, does that make first overall open for business? I would say yeah. I I don't see why not.
to No Life Stadium. What the fuck, man?
He's right. He's right. It's a garbage stadium. But I guess we'll finish off the little show. We'll let on a Giants fan, Mr. Miz. Very angry. So
What up?
what's it, Miz?
Cook, bro. Cook.
Man. Bro. I don't know, bro. Man, I'm disappointed, man. I'm just... I'm the one who walks around telling people to back these guys up. Give them their chance, bro. Like this and that. I try to be positive, man. Every year we do this. Every year, bro. We look forward to free agency. Maybe we're gonna get a couple of good players. Maybe we'll get an old lineman. And we pick up a fucking guy you can find at the local buffet, bro. This guy, you don't even want him on the field. The guy. Someone was telling me, "Oh, you guys got a swing tackle tonight, really good." Man, don't paint fucking lipstick on a pig, okay? Because that's what we're doing. This guy, and you know that these guys aren't good because $6 million for 3 years. You got a special team specialist. Oh, stop it, bro. Only the Giants can take a $6 million player and try to tell you that you got a specialist, a specialist at what? He's not a specialist at football, I'll tell you that much. Man, bro, I mean, you're right, bro. I didn't want to believe that earlier today. I went on the Pat show. I spoke with them. They always want to try to paint everything as roses, bro. Okay, you know what I said? I'm going to wait this year. Last year, I jumped down Shane's throat early, and then he came back with a big night, if you remember. So I said, this year, I'm going to sit back and wait.
Right.
Bro, nothing. The best signing we made today is Slayton, bro. It's not something that's going to excite anybody.
So you're not feeling Adebo? I'd be feeling Adebo, no.
Oh, he's all right, bro. But once again, let's be honest. We overpaid for this guy. I would have been more excited if we got Reed. What happened with Reed? He couldn't wait to run out of the building and get on the at Newark and get out of there? That would have happened.
I mean, he did go to Detroit, which is a far better franchise than we are, right,
bro.
Ain't that sad? Did you ever think it'd be a time in history when we would say Detroit would be a far better franchise than the New York Giants, bro? And this is what I mean, man. It's disheartening, bro.
To be honest, with free agency, we're
gonna give up an arm and a leg to go to one because we're going into the draft desperate as hell, desperate looking, man. Rodgers ain't coming here. He don't even want to come here. He's using the same way Stafford did to get to the place he wants to be at. That's all.
Facts.
Yeah,
that's true.
Alex said we don't get Rodgers. I'm not gaga over Rodgers, but just the fact that I ever even thought of wanting Rodgers just tell you how desperate we are for something.
Yeah.
Facts. 100%.
I'm guessing for as I said, my bar has absolutely lowered for the quarterback position. But I could tell if we don't get Wilson at least, I think Miz might go off if we get a Mariota or some low tier quarterback.
If we get Mariota, man, I'm telling you right now, bro. So Joe Shane better watch. I'll take a flight up to Newark. I got no problem flying up there. I'll see him in the parking lot the way people are waiting for Daniel Jones, man. I'm telling you, this is getting stupid. The Giants have money. Nobody wants to come here? Seriously? Nobody wants to come because you got a lame duck GM, like he said, and a lame duck head coach. And again, man, I've said this a million times, and I like the guy, so it's hard for me to poo-poo on him. John fucking Mara has destroyed this franchise with his own 10 fingers. And it all started the day he pushed Coughlin out the door. And then you could start the domino effect. Every year he's done something stupid, bro. He held on to Eli too long. He hired McAdoofus. Then it was clown Joe Judge who sold him with his rant. And he doesn't let Joe Shane trade players at the deadline when you know that he's not bringing them back because he's worried about 2 more seats filled in when no one's coming in December anyway, bro. And now you got planes flying over the stadium. And so we don't trade Barkley. We get nothing. For the best player in the league, we got nothing. You let McKinney go, okay, I get it. We're not a Super Bowl team. We're not going to pay McKinney $90 million. I get it. But you could have traded him. Definitely got a second rounder for him. It makes no sense to me. None. And I got to blame Mara. And now nobody wants to come to the shit show because John Mara decided that he's going to bring these guys back. Why? Why? Because I was right in the past. He promised them the day he hired them that if you try to make Jones work and it doesn't, I'm going to let you pick your quarterback later on. But yo, how later on? What, 7 years later on? You know what I mean, bro? Yo, when are we going to be good again? Bro, I don't even want to be good. I just wanted to play a meaningful game past Thanksgiving. Oh, I'm done with it, bro. I'm really angry, bro. And I hate when people, you got people out there. I'm not going to mention names. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, it's not that bad. What do you want them to do? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Yo, you keep making excuses every fucking year. You made excuses for Jones. So did I the first 3 years. I got off the boat last year. You wanted to stay on the boat until it went under the ocean. At least I jumped over with a wrap on, a vest. You stayed on until it went under. So now you didn't want to break.
Bro, I was off the boat 6 years ago, man. I'm fine. I'm dry.
I had people telling me that it was important to beat the Patriots 10-7 rather than getting Drake May. Sick, bro. Sick.
And so happens when you win meaningless games. And if we don't get a quarterback this year in the first two, let's just say the Titans and the Browns, they win. They get Ward and Shador, and the Giants don't feel like picking any quarterback there. Then great win against the Colts.
Oh, that was great.
I'm gonna be honest.
40 points.
I'm honest with you right now. The way things are going for the Giants, the Titans will stay at 1 and take Ward, and the Browns will take Shador, and the Giants are going to end up with their finger in their asshole and not know what to do. If we go with what's been happening the last few years and also today, that's the road we're headed on. We're going to get draft night. I'm telling you. Or he's gonna go trade 2 or 3 ones right now to go to 1. He's going to way overpay. Let's be honest.
He will. He has to. He's got no quarterback. There's not a human being in a quarterback room right now.
Bro, this guy might give away 2 1s and 2 2s and God knows what to call 2 spots because the Titans know now I got Joe Shane's balls in my hands, bro.
Absolutely.
It's crazy, man. This is getting nastier by the moment. Oh, Miz, let's see tomorrow. See what tomorrow, bro? The Broncos just cleaned up half of the Niners defense. You know that?
Yep. Yeah, they got the safety and the linebacker.
That's nice.
Yeah. The Denver's going to be real good, man. You know why? They got a competent organization with a real deal head coach. They brought him in.
Boom. That makes a difference.
Yeah, and Dave was the last
guy. We could have been there had we actually got rid of Joe Shane when we had the chance.
I don't even blame
him. Proper regime in charge right now. We would be making these kind of moves.
If I'm Dable, bro, I'm looking to strangle Shane because, he's never given Dable a chance to be the head coach here.
He screwed him. He screwed him so bad.
Yeah, and nobody's going to give that guy another head coaching job. Not right away, bro. So I don't know, man. Not after this disaster.
No.
I never thought as a Giants fan, I never agreed with things that you said in the past, that guys don't want to come here. But you know what? Today makes me really feel that way. I can't look at it any other way. Who reported that, by the way?
Why would they come here, though? It's just not all take fandom aside. If you look at other organizations in the league, why would you choose the Giants? Like, there's not really anything appealing right now. The facility, the MetLife Stadium is the most unpopular stadium in the league. The turf can get you injured. You got an owner who's universally just, disliked at this point, and the general manager no one wants. And they made an ass of themselves, and everyone went and took Saquon's side, rightfully so. And they made an ass of themselves in Hard Knocks. Why would you go to this place? This place is stinky. And until they move on from Joe Shane, that stench is going to remain. So it was a really strange move by John Mara. Again, it's not the case of my hating Joe Shane or any of that stuff. I'm thinking, what's the upside to keeping him? There really isn't an upside. That's why we had to move on.
Oh, you're right. We were talking about this at work earlier tonight. That Hard Knock show did more damage to the Giants than people realize, man. It really did. And the way Joe Shane treated Barkley or how he let him go, a lot of players don't respect that.
Absolutely.
Man, it's bad, bro. Bad. And then he goes and wins the Super Bowl and rushes for 2,000 yards. So.
And we offered Darius Slayton more. No, we paid Darius Slayton more than we offered Saquon Barkley. So does that mean that we value Darius Slayton more than Saquon Barkley, the best player in the league last year?
Bro, you could have had both. I don't buy the money issues. That was a personal thing. Shane was not happy. He made him an offer a year before. He said no. From that moment on, Shane was going to play a game, but he was never going to bring him back. We know
Plus,
that.
Shane wanted to be the smartest man in the room. You could tell he wanted to be the smartest guy in the room, but because he kept saying it to everyone, all the guys in his office, he's like, "Oh, he's paying him anyway." Oh, the trends say that he's due to decline at the age of 27 onwards. So, and he's thinking ahead, going, "Oh, but I can get this guy and that guy," and at the end of the day, you're not that smart. You ain't that smart, bro.
Oh, he's not. Bro, and this DT we got. Come on, bro. You know what I mean? Like, listen, man, you got a DT. All right, that's nice, bro. Come on, man. You didn't get the real guy. There were a couple of real guys out there. You didn't get one real. The corner. I'm not excited about the corner either, man. I know he's a good cover corner, but I'm not juiced up for him. We overpaid for this guy. You had Reed in the building. You were supposed to get him. Like, whatever, man. I don't know, bro.
In fairness, you tend to always have to overpay in free agency. That's why you always build to the draft. So, but we don't build to the draft. So there's not really another option. Paulson Adebo is probably the second best corner on the free agent market, apart from Byron Murphy. So I would have gone with. I like Adebo. So I think it's a good signing. We have to overpay, bro. That's just the state of affairs we're in. So I think it was the right move.
But here's the thing. We're sitting here tonight. The entire fan base is worried about one thing. And then everything else is cool. Whatever they do is cool. Whatever.
It's true.
Quarterback. Who's the veteran quarterback? And you're sitting here, okay? You're sitting here right now. Why is Russell Wilson not the Giants quarterback right now?
He doesn't want to be here.
Because they're sitting around while Rodgers clowns us and plays with us, and they're waiting on to see what Rodgers. So Rodgers is going to wait. He's going to end up with Pittsburgh. Russell Wilson ain't going to wait forever. The Titans are going to snatch. And we're going to end up with nobody, bro. You're going to end up with Tommy DeVito. No, this is sick. Forget the Rodgers. Say, yo, you ain't that good anyway. You're a has-been later. And sign Russell Wilson. At least put some of us fans at ease for a moment. You can't go into the draft with no quarterback. I'm sorry, DeVito's not a quarterback. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, not at all. He's vibes. That's all he is. He's vibes.
No, come on now. Alex, you're going to draft with no quarterback and you want to go get Wood, the Titans are going to destroy us.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, yeah.
They would break us because they have all the leverage.
Yeah, bro. Hey, so, Shane, how are you? We're just calling to find out. I know we've spoken in the past. I'd like to know how much the first pick, and what are you looking for the first pick? Oh, Joe Shane. Oh, yeah, how you doing, man? I heard if you don't have a quarterback, you're fired by Halloween. Is that true? Is that it? Right? Okay. I want 3 1s, a 2, and throw in Kayvon. That's how that's going to be.
Facts. Absolute facts.
That's yeah. I think Wilson's better still than Winston. Winston just has the turnover issue.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I would like today. I settled on Russell Wilson. Not settled. That's the guy I want. You're right. Rodgers, too much shit comes with him. Whatever. I was excited for a moment. Thought maybe he'll take football serious, but I don't know. But once he started using us to see what the Steelers are gonna give him, that's when I'm done with this guy because yeah, we're not good, but I don't want to be used either because, I still respect who we are in our history. So I don't like that.
Yeah. Agreed. But Miz, you got any final thoughts before we let you go and then close out the show?
I mean, I'm gonna see you tomorrow, man. I mean, you know, an eruption, the Miz erupts is coming on video. I've been waiting patiently. I've been trying to be cool and give him time. And unfortunately, the Yankee season's over this year before it started. I can't be I'm not gonna be angry because we've had so many good years, and you knew we were due for one of these. So it's fine, whatever. I love Stanton, but I believe it's over with Stanton, and I believe whatever he's juiced into his body to have that ridiculous historic playoff run, he gave us everything he had left. So I don't hate the guy. He gave us a run and a half, but it's time to start moving on from some of these. Yeah, unfortunately with Coles, to me that's a blow that we don't come back. So
yeah.
All
right.
Later,
Miz. Happy to have you on. Great rant, man. We'll talk. All right. Let's close out the show. Donald, your final thoughts on this absolutely great day one of free agency.
Well, I mean, listen, it's not all doom and gloom, as I say. At least Joe Shane hasn't completely lumbered our next general manager with bad contracts. I think Paulson Adebo was a really decent signing. The rest, if I was to say mid, that would be incredibly generous. Massive overpays, disgusting overpays, and the Giants have a massive stench attached to them. But I really want day two to be better. If day two we have a starting caliber right guard in there and Ross, then I'm not going to say I'm singing a different tune. It's just a slightly more optimistic tune,
yeah.
And then at least we have a better idea of what the picture is. If that happens, then fine. If it's a different story, it's like freaking Mariota and then I don't know, like fucking bringing back Isaiah McKenzie and I don't know, fucking any other failure from Buffalo, then it's gonna be a fire show.
A funny thing. Here's a fun fact about our boy Robertson-Harris. He plays a large amount of snaps outside of the offensive tackle, which is pretty odd. And he doesn't have one thing that he seems to excel at, per Bobby, which means that's not good.
No, not at all. Shout out to Bobby, man. His breakdowns are excellent.
Yeah. Oh man, but I'm gonna throw it in the chat one more time. You guys go sub up to Pinstripe Chronicles. Go check out Donald's Twitter, which is right there, of course, under his username. Of course, they run a great show there, Pinstripe Chronicles. Him, Tats, and of course, Rob and all the other cast of characters. And of course, Donald has his show on there every Saturday, talking about the Yankees and if they have a season left or anything like that, which is very minuscule, very slim to none.
Spoiler alert, they don't.
Not at all. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. If the Giants sign a quarterback tomorrow, do expect us to be live here again. But I figured, just come on for an hour or so, break down day one of free agency and talk our talk. So
it was a lot of fun talking Big Blue and my man Alex. If you guys haven't hit the like button yet, you guys are missing out. Hit that like button and hit the sub button and do all the good stuff for my guy, man, because he's doing some really quality work.
Yes, sir. So, Neil, I'm going to say that the Giants are fourth place, but nonetheless, appreciate you guys. Peace out. See you later. Have a good